You know that feeling, right? You're in a room, someone starts to speak, and everything else just fades away. You're hooked. Then there's the other feeling. Someone starts talking, and you can literally feel your brain looking for the nearest exit. We've all seen both. And the difference, believe it or not, isn't some kind of magic. It's a set of codes. And today, we're going to unlock them.
So let me tell you a tale of two speakers. First, we have Suresh. Suresh absolutely dreads going to parties. He's nervous, he feels like no one hears him, and talking to a stranger, that's his worst nightmare. He's that guy you see in the corner just glued to his phone. But then there's Ramesh. Ramesh is the life of the party. He makes friends without even trying, people hang on his every word, and his stories are legendary. They're basically the two opposite poles of the communication world.
So let's have a quick honest moment. When you walk into a room, who do you feel like more, a Suresh or a Ramesh? Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. The really good news is it doesn't matter where you are right now. Because guess what? Getting from Suresh to Ramesh, that's a skill you can learn. To even start that journey, we have to begin in a place that might surprise you. Not with the audience, but with ourselves. This is the absolute foundation. It's all about figuring out why you're even speaking in the first place.
Now check out this quote. It kind of messes with how we think about connection, doesn't it? We assume building a bridge to someone is always a good thing. But the scholar Gernot Wolfram makes this brilliant point. If you build that bridge only from your side, based on what you think the other person needs, well, you can actually make the gap between you even bigger. It becomes a one-way street nobody wants to walk down.
And that brings us to this absolutely critical question. When you speak, are you trying to speak for other people, guessing what they want to hear, or are you speaking for yourself, from a place that's real and authentic and you? And here's the bottom line. You can't really truly connect with anyone else until you feel empowered in your own voice. You've got to know your own story, what you stand for, why you're even there. This isn't about being selfish. It's about being solid. You know, an actor who is a refugee is totally different from a refugee who just happens to be an actor. See the difference? The first one is empowered. That's where real communication has to start. Okay, so once that internal foundation is rock solid, we can start building on top of it. It's time to talk strategy. How do you actually shape your words into something that sticks, something that people remember? This is where we bring in the ancient art of rhetoric. Now, I know that word can sound a little intimidating, maybe a bit stuffy, but all it really is, as Harvard's course puts it, is the art of persuasion. It's just the toolkit you need to make your message hit home. And maybe the most powerful tool in that whole kit is the simple rule of 3. Our brains are just wired to love patterns. And 3 is the magic number. So you structure your message like this. First, here's the problem we all have. Second, here's my solution to that problem. And third, here's the amazing benefit you're going to get. Problem, solution, benefit. It works like a charm every time. Now, if you want to make this even more powerful, you gotta think like a storyteller. Every good story needs a villain, right? The villain is the problem. It's the frustration, the thing you and your audience both hate. For Steve Jobs, the villain was clunky, ugly, complicated technology. When you name that villain, your audience starts nodding. They're thinking, yeah, I hate that too. And just like that, you're on the same team. And of course, once you've got a great villain, the stage is perfectly set for a hero. The hero is your solution, your idea, your product. It's the thing that's going to ride in and save the day. That contrast, that tension between the bad guy and the good guy is just incredibly engaging. Finally, you have to take this entire story, this whole message, and distill it down into one single unforgettable line. When Steve Jobs launched the iPod, he didn't drone on about 5 gigabytes of storage. No way. He said 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's the mic drop. You have to find that one powerful sentence that people remember long after you're done talking. So you've got your foundation, you've got your strategy, but here's the thing. Even the most brilliant message in the world can just fall flat if it isn't delivered well. Now we get to the performance. How you actually deliver your words with an impact that people can feel. You know, so much of what we communicate has nothing to do with the words we're saying. It's the unspoken stuff. Your body language. Are you open and confident, or are you all closed off? Your tone of voice. Are you bringing energy or putting people to sleep? Are you actually making eye contact and building trust? And my personal favorite, are you using powerful pauses to let your points really land? Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. Hey, let me show you exactly what not to do. This slide contains far too many words, bullet points, and complex sentences, and the audience has probably stopped listening to the narrator because they are busy trying to read all of this dense text instead of focusing on the main point. You feel that, right? Your brain is trying to read and listen at the same time, and it just can't. It's total cognitive overload. Now, contrast that with this. Ah. Simplicity. See what happens? When there's just one idea on the screen, your audience has no choice but to look at you and listen to what you're saying. Keeping your visuals minimal gives your words maximum power. And here it is, the real secret sauce of a great delivery. If you are not excited about what you're saying, then why on earth should anyone else be? Your energy, your passion, your honest-to-God enthusiasm, it is contagious. It literally radiates from you and infects the room. If you want them to feel something, you have to feel it first. We've all seen those speakers. They get on stage and they just seem so relaxed, so effortless. They're charismatic, they're funny, they just seem so natural. And you watch them and you think, wow, what a gift. They were just born that way. Well, let me pull back the curtain for you. That natural feeling, it's a total illusion. It is the result of ruthless, relentless practice. It's like one writer said, people tell him he looks so relaxed on stage, and he just thinks to himself, yeah, because I practiced this 100 times. Natural isn't a gift you're born with. It's something you earn. So we've got the foundation, the strategy, and the delivery. Let's bring it all home and talk about the transformation, how all these skills come together to become your ultimate advantage, your superpower. I want you to start thinking of yourself as a joker presenter. Imagine this. You're the last speaker of a long, boring day. The audience is exhausted. Their energy is totally gone. And then you walk on stage. You're like the Joker card, played at just the right moment, and you completely change the vibe in the room. You wake them up. You get them excited. You make them feel something new. So that's the whole journey, right there. From the inside out, it starts with the foundation, knowing why you speak, which means speaking for yourself. Then comes the strategy, knowing what you'll say by telling a killer story. And finally, the delivery, knowing how you'll say it by showing your passion and practicing until it feels totally natural. Look, these aren't just a few random tips. These are the codes. These are the secrets to powerful communication. So the question is no longer, are you a Suresh or a Ramesh? The only question that's left is this. Now that you have the codes, how are you going to change the next room you walk into?